It is said that there are many scientific facts attributed to the Quran, the holy book of Muslims. Some of them are multi-layered and complex, and the Quran describes scientific discoveries in the form of surahs. However, some surahs were difficult to accept until science advanced enough to prove the existence of such phenomena through science. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to another episode here on FTD Facts. This topic is highly requested, so we'll be looking at 10 surprising scientific facts that are present in the Quran. Starting at number 10, we have the frontal lobe. There is a story of an oppressive leader, Abu Jahl, in the Quran. To warn him, Allah said, "No, indeed, if he does not stop, we will seize him by the forehead, his lying, sinful forehead." Now the question is, why forehead? Well, modern research shows that the prefrontal area of the human brain deals with planning, aggression, and motivation. It is a part of the human brain that deals with lying. Muslims believe that mentioning the forehead here is intentional in the Quran. From there, we look at number 9, waves in the ocean. The central religious text of Islam says this about the ocean, that it is covered by waves, above which are waves, above which are clouds. So this means that oceans do not just have waves above them. Well, oceanographers, while studying water bodies, have discovered that the belief that waves only occur on the surface of the ocean is just completely wrong. The waves are also present internally underneath the surface of the water. These internal waves are created when the lower part of the oceanic body faces an obstacle. So the barrier causes disturbance and leads to oscillations. The scientific fact coming in at number 8 is pain receptors. For a long time, it was thought that the sense of feeling and pain is because of the brain. But later, scientific study discovered that our skin contains pain receptors that are responsible for the feeling of touch and pain. Now, if we look over at what the Quran has said about this a long time ago, we find a passage that says, "Those who reject our revelations will be cast into the hellfire. We will replace their skins with new ones once their skin have been burnt away, so that they can continue to feel pain." Coming in at number 7, we have the cloud formation. The Quran clearly described the formation of the clouds. In this passage, and I quote, "Have you not seen how Allah makes the clouds move gently, then joins them together, then makes them into a stack, and then you see the rain comes out of it?" Now this passage, well, it's exactly how science describes it. The small clouds are pushed by the winds, and the clouds that are near to each other amalgamate. A vertical updrift occurs at this point, and the upper part of the cloud expands into the sky. As a result, various parts of the cloud are raised to divergent points, giving the impression that many clouds are piled on top of each other, which is the stacking. This scientific fact was only discovered in the last 2 centuries, so the mention of it in the Quran is definitely ahead of its time. Now from there, we look at number 6, iron within meteorites. So check this one out. According to M.E. Walnarth, iron is not an element that was naturally discovered on Earth. According to science, billions of years ago, a meteorite struck Earth, which contained iron, and when it exploded after hitting the Earth, our planet got iron. Now, this is what the Quran has to say about this. "We sent down iron with its great inherent strength and its many benefits for humankind." So we see sent down iron. The scientific fact of the protection of the sky comes in at number 5. The sky shields the Earth from sun's lethal rays. We all know this. Now, the sun's radiation would have killed off all life on Earth if the sky did not exist. It also acts as a blanket wrapped around the Earth, keeping it warm from the cold of outer space. If this temperature reached Earth, the planet would instantly freeze over. And yes, the sky also protects life on Earth by warming the surface and retaining heat, and the Quran had this to say: "We created a protective ceiling in the sky. Despite this, they ignore our signs." That's specifically taken from Surah 21 verses 32. The scientific fact at number 4 has to deal with embryology. Now, this is what the Quran has to say about this, and I quote, "We created man out of clay extract. Then we made him a firmly fixed drop in a place of settlement." clot. Then we transform the drop into an alaka or blood clot, and the alaka into a mudga. That's found in Surah 23 verses 12 to 14. Now, the word alaka can be described as a leech, a blood clot, or something that is suspended in the air. According to science, a fetus gets its nutrition and oxygen from the mother. In this case, a fetus is just like a leech that sucks blood. In the early stages, the fetus stops movement and becomes stationary, just like a blood clot. And lastly, in the womb, the baby hangs by the placenta from the wall of the uterus. So we have various different applications of that word alaka that are applied to the various different stages in embryology. Next up, we have oceans that do not mix at number 3. Meeting of two oceans is termed conflux. Now, when two seas meet, they retain their individual properties like temperature, color, and density. Now, at a conflux, you can see two different oceans running side by side. This is a recent discovery of science. On the other hand, the Quran stated years ago this passage: He released the two seas meeting side by side. Between them is a barrier so neither of them transgress. Number 2 leads us to something known as the Big Crunch theory. Now, the concept is based on Einstein's general relativity theory, and it discusses how the Earth will eventually be destroyed. It's a speculative scenario that describes the fate of the universe and explains how the expansion will eventually reverse and the universe will collapse. So yeah, not just the destruction of planet Earth, but the destruction of the entire universe. Now, this is what the Quran has to say about this. Remember the day when we roll up the heavens like a scribe rolls up the written scrolls. Now, the description provided in Islamic scripture is similar to the scenario proposed by several physicists worldwide. And for number 1, the theory here is the Big Bang theory. The Big Bang theory describes the origin of the universe. Until about 100 years ago or so, it was believed that the universe had always existed by most people anyways. But Albert Einstein challenged this belief during his field equation study and presented a theory that the universe is actually an expanding force that is growing like a balloon. Now, later, a mathematician and Belgian priest proposed that the expansion must have started from a dense initial point. Well, the Quran says this: Do the unbelievers not see that the heavens and the earth were once a closed up mass, ratkan, which were opened up? And that's found in Surah 21 verses 31. Now, the text's use of the word ratkan alludes to darkness and a closed up mass. This is how the universe must have appeared before the Big Bang. So there you have it, guys. That concludes this episode. Thanks for hanging out with me. If you made it this far, don't forget to leave a like. It really does help. Also, if this is your first time here to the channel, go ahead and subscribe and ring the bell. It's always great when we see the FTD family growing. So stick around and look forward to seeing you guys in the next episode.